Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live, or should I say, top of the morning to you, or top of the league, whatever way you want to phrase it. I'm Haggerty 10, Tony Haggerty, Twitter handle, as you can see. And I'm joined today by Alison McConnell. Morning, Alison.
Good morning. How are you, Tony?
Fine. There's only one way to start this, really, isn't there? Rio, Hatate. Join in at home now. Rio, Hatate. Right, get the pleasantries out the road and the silly stuff. Alison, what a rampant, ruthless, clinical performance from Celtic, certainly the first half.
Yeah, I thought it was emphatic. I thought that first 45 minutes eviscerated Rangers, really. I thought Rangers had no answer for Celtic. I think the speed and the movement of in particular, I'm thinking of Hatate, Matt O'Reilly, Jota, even Juranovic. I thought they tore Rangers apart in that first 45 minutes. He came off the blocks very, very quickly, as we have seen on other occasions this season. But what was different was that they made it count immediately. I think that early goal can be so critical when you start like that. And I think I always suspected that if Celtic scored first, that they would win the game. I certainly didn't think they would lose, but what I did think was that they just sensed the vulnerability of Rangers. They sensed that they were there for the taking, and they took it. And I think it felt very much like a statement win. It wasn't just the win itself, but the manner of the performance. And I think what you could conclude from it is that there has been a real shift in power in Glasgow.
Yeah, we were talking off camera before we came on, and I was laughing at Rio Hatate's expression after he scored the second goal. It was very reminiscent of Lubomir Moravcik when he scored the goal in the 5-1 game. The crowd going mental and just shaking his shoulders as if, what's the big deal here? That's what I do. That's the quality I'm bringing to your club. But what a start for Rio Hatate. 3 goals in 4 games and looking every inch a wonderful footballer.
It's been an extraordinary start, and I think there was a suspicion immediately when he made his debut that there was a player there, and I think that's very much been confirmed. And I'm not sure that that's the only parallel you could make between him and Lubomir Moravcik. I think, like Moravcik, he arrived with no one really knowing anything about him, and very quickly, I think you see a quality player in there. I thought both finishes were excellent. He had an assist. I thought it was just a very complete midfield performance in that opening half, and I think Celtic have uncovered a real gem of a player. I think he already looks like a steal, given the snip really that Celtic got for.
Ange says he's only going to get better because he's no fit. I'd like to see him when he's firing in all cylinders.
I heard Callum McGregor say similar in the immediate post-match interview. He said once he really gets up to once we get him fitter and his match sharpness improves, and like you're thinking, gosh, there's more. The club are clearly expecting that there is more to come from this boy, and it's been an astounding start. I thought Kyogo Furuhashi started well. I thought his introduction to Celtic was seamless, and all of a sudden you have someone else coming and doing the same and really just showcasing an aggression, quality, and assurance that seemed to just go all the way through Celtic last night. I thought they looked like a team who believed. They believed in one another. They believed in the philosophy of the manager, and they believed that they're the best team in the country. And I thought that was translated in the performance that they put in.
And there was not a failure, Alison, last night. You look for your big players to turn up, and you look for everybody to be a 7, 8, 9. I think there was plenty of them last night. I like the look of Josip Juranovic, was outstanding last night. Greg Taylor, a lot of people's maybe whipping boy, was tremendous as well. Matt O'Reilly, he's just fitted in seamlessly. Another terrific, composed midfield performance. And even Giakoumakis, who did everything bar score last night, but he gave Rangers a torrid time of it up front.
Thought his movement was good last night in the first half. He was unlucky. Two efforts that Alan McGregor was equal to, but I thought his performance overall was decent. I thought it was good. I would take your point. I thought Juranovic was outstanding. To be honest, I thought he was excellent, and Matt O'Reilly too, for a boy who's come from League One and who will have just walking into, you think, that first game at Tynecastle and then the game last night, it's incomparable to anything that he would have played in front of before. And he's another one who you think has come in. He's not taken any time at all to acclimatise to new surroundings, to a new culture, new demands, different kind of pressures, very unique pressures. I think he's come in and just walked straight into that side, and all of a sudden you think, here's a team that for the opening half of the campaign relied almost exclusively on that triumvirate of Callum McGregor, Tom Roderick and David Turnbull. All of a sudden now there are genuine options there in the middle of the park. Like, there's real depth when everyone is fit and available. There's quality in those areas of the pitch now.
I wrote a piece this morning, Alison, or last night, and it's on the site today, about the psychological barrier that was removed by beating Rangers and then some. And I'm saying that Ange didn't use Jedi mind tricks, and I've sort of said that, it turns out that Ange was the manager Celtic were looking for all along, and he can go about his business.
I think it's been a very good fit. I think he came in. I thought there was honesty that first day that he arrived. I thought he came across as very genuine. I think people can spot managers who are quite disingenuous from 100 paces. I thought he was honest that day. He knew he wasn't the first choice for the job. He didn't overplay any relationship with Celtic or the club, but I thought he was very honest about his philosophy, about his background. His values were very much in keeping with the club. He spoke very eloquently about his background and coming from a family of immigrants in Australia, and about hard work and an appreciation of the job that he's in and the very entitled life that football had given him. And I think he made an immediate impression. I thought he endeared himself well from the off. But as you and I both know, Tony, nothing really matters other than what you do on the pitch. But what you've seen was that first clip of his Lennoxtown training session. Get into your heads. We don't stop. We keep going. We play until the last whistle. And I think you saw glimpses of it early on. I think you still see glimpses of it. I'm not sure that they're fully there yet in terms of the football that he wishes to play. But what you would say is that last night's performance was very much in keeping with that philosophy. I think that's Celtic's biggest win since August. I think they've not really been blowing teams away. They've threatened to do it without actually taking their chances and being clinical. And I thought that was a difference last night, that they did take the chances, they got the early goal, and the belief within the squad was palpable. The assurance within the team was tangible. You could sense it, and you could sense it even before that first goal. But I do think Hatate's opener after 5 minutes was crucial, just to clarifying that and endorsing it. But what you're seeing now is a team who very much have bought in to Postecoglou's methods, to his philosophy, and who are certainly moving in the direction of fulfilling those kind of ambitions in the way he wants to play. And it's an attacking style of football that was all going to be attractive to the Celtic support, and it was always going to endear them to the Celtic support.
What I loved about Ange last night, he came away with this brilliant quote afterwards, Alison, which kind of summed it all up for myself. He said, "We had 60,000 in here. I'm sure a lot walked in with some problems in their lives, and for 95 minutes we made them forget that and feel good, and that's something special." I think last night those that were there will remember it for a long, long time to come. And said himself, it's a memory that will live with him forever. Just having that crowd, the players fed off the crowd, didn't he? And the crowd for the whole 95 minutes were with them, just rolled them on to victory in that game.
Yeah, I think when you consider last season and playing games like that out in front of empty stadiums, we know how much it detracted from the occasion. I thought there was a real din inside Celtic Park. There was a real energy. I think you're right to say that the players feed off it. I think that's absolutely spot on. But I think too, there was an appreciation of the win last night and an appreciation of the performance in some parts because it symbolised a change of power, and that's it. Rangers had won 6 of the last 7. Even going back one before that, the League Cup final that Celtic had won in 2019, they were under the cosh for so much of that game. They were pretty fortuitous to come out of it with the cup back in 2019, and that game seemed fairly seismic and showing a shift of balance. What I thought last night was an appreciation that had changed again, that you're relishing the opportunity to be back on top, and I think that owed much to the energy and atmosphere within the stadium, that those performances haven't been there for a while, for the last 18 months and possibly longer. There's not been that dominance in a game against Rangers. There's not been that swashbuckling sense of confidence that you felt almost immediately last night.
Now, having hit the top spot, Alison, big question is now, can Celtic stay there until May?
I think the momentum is all Celtic's now. Their fate is in their own hands. I thought Callum McGregor was sensible last night. I think after the game, he was saying we're back in tomorrow, we recover, we'll do a session. It's about Fir Park, and I think that's a mentality that you need from your captain. I think there were 9 players, if I'm correct in saying, who are new to Celtic this season, new to this fixture. I think you can't get carried away by it. I think if you allow yourself to indulge in it too much, there is a danger of slipping. I think this weekend could be every bit as significant as last weekend.
Yeah.
You need Celtic need to go and sustain the form that they've shown. They need to keep the wind at their backs. They need another win just to cement that position at the top. And of course, I think Celtic are earlier on Sunday. I think Rangers go starts later on. It's a real opportunity to put further pressure on. It's an opportunity now to really kick on. And I think you have to be focused. And I think if you're a player, you enjoy last night, you enjoy what it means, but ultimately it's what it can mean and what it can give rise to. And I think you have to keep your eye on the league and expecting a difficult game at Fir Park, but looking to prevail and really turn the screw now and push on. I think the last thing Celtic would want to do is offer any encouragement now to Rangers to get back into it.
3 words Ange always says after victories that have been coming thick and fast. I'll enjoy it. We go again. That's his mentality. He's saying it in every after-match interview. He said, I'll enjoy the moment, but tomorrow we go again. And that's the kind of philosophy and style and, what he's impressed upon the players, Alison. Enjoy the moment. We're going again tomorrow. You're back in here again.
Yeah, I don't think that's unique to Ange Postecoglou. I think what you'll find is that's a mentality in lots of managers who want to win, managers who understand that it's not about one big result. It's about a marathon of results. It's about a sequence of performances and results and sustaining things and building something, building a team, putting in foundations that lead to success. And that doesn't come in isolation. So I think he's correct in his viewpoint. I think there's a real danger that you read too much into it. And I think it was difficult to overstate. I think it would be difficult to overstate the magnitude of the win last night. It did feel like more than just a win. It did feel like more than just 3 points because of the manner and the style of the win. But for that to count, it has to be sustained now.
Yeah, you see that Motherwell becomes just as important as you say as Rangers last night. That is an opportunity to go and move yourself 4 points in front. Rangers, they later kick off and see how they handle that pressure, Alison. And it's an ideal opportunity to do that, isn't it?
Without question. And what you have to say too is that this is a Celtic side who were without key players last night. You have to consider who still has to come back into this squad over the course of the next few months. Kyogo Furuhashi had an outstanding opening half to this season. He has to come back in. Tom Rogic was playing some of the best football that he'd played for some time at Celtic before he headed off on international duty. David Turnbull too has still to come back in. Christopher Julian offers a different scope at the back. This is a Celtic team who will get stronger as the season goes deeper. So essentially it is about continuing in the same vein. I think there is a level of confidence that comes when you are winning games, and that's why you saw a Celtic side that exuded confidence last night. Before a ball was kicked, you could sense a belief, and that comes through winning football games. It comes on the back of going on a now 22 game unbeaten run. That's what it gives you. And I think if you can sustain that, then you know that your fate's in your own hand. And what you would have to say now is that Celtic look like a team who believe they are champions elect. Now you have to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, Ange said last night, made a point of saying they're still not the finished article. They have these players to come back. They will get stronger. They want to get stronger. They will get better. He's going to demand that they get better because he still thinks they can play better, and they've not reached the levels that he ideally wants. So he's striving for that perfection, Alison. He'll never get it, but if he's constantly striving for it, he'll get more and more out of his players.
I think you see that come through in all top managers. You see it in top players too. I think there's a relentlessness. There's a sense of never being satisfied about where you are. You saw it with Brendan Rodgers' teams. I think you could... there was always more, and that was a team who went on to really dominate Scottish football for a period in time. With a list of achievements, it probably won't be bettered when you consider the haul of trophies that came, the sequence of results, the games that they went unbeaten. I think that is a sign of a quality manager when you have that philosophy about not resting on your laurels, about constantly striving for improvement. And the thing is with Celtic, what you have seen is flashes of how he wants to play.
Yeah.
I think Celtic have been guilty of fading in games as they've gone on, of maybe not taking chances. And I think what you have to do now is aim to bring that over the course of 90 minutes and to start winning games convincingly too.
Now, Alison, if you're Jota and Cameron Carter-Vickers, you know what to give this up, are you?
Yeah, that's not.
Put you right on the spot.
It's not a question for me to answer. I think both look as though they're enjoying themselves, but let's be honest, we live in the real world and money talks. And that's what it comes down to. I think there are other elements that come into consideration and come into play, but crucially, finances are at the top of it. I don't think there's any getting away from it. What you would say is that Jota looks at home. He looks as though he's enjoying himself. I think he'll consider all options at the end of the season. But for me, I just wonder how important winning the league may be, because it opens the door to Champions League football. Now, aside from what that means in terms of revenue and money, there's a whole other aspect that comes if you're a player in terms of exposure to Europe's premier tournament, about pitting yourself against some of the best. It's not an easy tournament. If you're in Scotland, it's not been an easy tournament to get there. We know how long it's been since Celtic were last involved in it. I think that could sway a decision. And obviously, of course, it strengthens Celtic's hand financially. But for players, there is a real lure of being able to go and compete in that environment. And if you're a player like Jota, who's still young, I think he's 22, 23, there's an opportunity to improve, to play for a season and use it to showcase what you have and then possibly move on to a bigger league. And I think Champions League football would possibly give you that draw of putting yourself in the shop window and showing how you can compete against the very top talents in the game.
Excellent. On that note, I think we'll say Skingraft will not get the smile off every Celtic supporter's face today. A rampant performance. 3-0 victory in the Glasgow Derby in front of 60,000 screaming Celtic supporters. Alison, thanks for your contribution. Always enjoy it. Sorry about the comments. I see them coming in. Just was enjoying the chat, but I'm getting a feel that you are all up in the ceiling somewhere and need scraped off. Enjoy your day. It's been a long time coming. And Alison, enjoy your day as well. Thanks for your contribution as well. And we'll see you again tomorrow, guys. All the best.